Today, I want to talk about the trauma bond that you develop when you're in a toxic relationship with a narcissist. I'll be discussing some steps to help overcome and break the trauma bond so you can begin to detach and move on with your life. A trauma bond begins to develop through what most people call the punishment and reward system. You get love bombed by someone highly narcissistic, and this feels rewarding. You're complimented, you're praised, you're chased after, sought after, given all kinds of gifts, maybe even grand gestures. All of this feels euphoric, fantastical, and amazing. Then, however, you're devalued. And this is, of course, the punishment. But we start to remember that if we just wait long enough, we will be rewarded once again. And sometimes this is also called positive intermittent reinforcement. Pretty much means the same thing. The positive good things that you get from this person are placed few and far between. You don't know when you'll get something rewarding, but you know it's coming if you just wait long enough, if you just perform to their standards, do everything they want, and so on. You just know in your heart of hearts that feeling of euphoria and perfection and love with this person will come back. And going through this cycle again and again with a person creates that trauma bond. And it can make leaving the relationship, letting go, going no contact, and all of those other things extremely difficult. Most people feel intense fear about doing this because they have become addicted to the rush, the positivity, the love bombing, even the drama of all of it. You get addicted as well as waiting for it. You might even feel that if you leave, you might never know when something would have changed. Well, what if I would have left on Monday, but the good thing was coming on Tuesday? I can't leave. I have to wait because the next day it might be good, the next day and the next day, making that very dangerous one-day wager. Well, I can't leave today. Tomorrow it might get good. They might understand. They might really love me. They might change. And that fear of unknown, that fear of possibly missing out on the good stuff is what causes so much pain, depression, anguish, and anxiety. So I want to list some steps to begin working on the process of breaking a trauma bond. Number one, the first thing that I believe really needs to be addressed is fantasy versus reality. We have a false version and a false idea of this person in our mind. Of course, it's that false image that was presented to us by this person, that they're funny, they're charming, maybe they have a lot of money or a good job. This whole fake person that they have portrayed, that's who sticks in our mind, regardless of the devaluing that's going on around us. And that's why a lot of people who are codependent make excuses and justifications for the behavior. We still see that perfection, so we are choosing to ignore the reality of it all. But we need to see what it really is, and that there is no change coming. We have to think about what is and not what could have been, would have been, should have been. It's really important that we stop fantasizing about what we want and who we want and look at what we really have. Fantasy versus reality is something that can be really difficult to break, but we have to keep a lot of those person's negative qualities in the forefront of our mind. And I've shared the story before where I wrote a lot of negative qualities and negative traits about the person that I was dealing with, and I stuck those Post-it notes all over my home. I can be incredibly nostalgic and want to only think about the good times and overlook all the bad. And I needed those very stark, very constant reminders of what was done to me. It needed to be done. I needed to look it in the face every single day when I would read those messages. That gave me the reality check that I needed, that I was lied to, I was cheated on, this person didn't care about my security, my safety, so on and so forth. Fantasy versus reality, we have to begin to make that commitment to walk in the light of the truth and say, I am not going to continue to pretend to be blind anymore. This is what it is, and it will never be any different. Another thing that we have to remind ourselves about when it comes to breaking that trauma bond is to take things one day at a time. No contact and breaking up, those are really scary things, especially when you are hooked on intoxicating love bombing from a narcissist. The words never and always are very, very scary when used in certain situations. If you say to yourself right now, I will never talk to this person again, even just me saying the words probably gave you that little feeling in the pit of your stomach, that anxiety, that, oh, I can never talk to this person again. They've been in my life for weeks, months, years, maybe longer into decades, and now they just have to go away and never, ever come back. Again, never is an incredibly dangerous word. I don't say the word never in a lot of my vocabulary. I say things to myself like, well, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't have anything to say to this person today. I don't really consider myself being no contact, quote unquote, with the narcissist that I dealt with. I can find him on Facebook. I can find him on other social media outlets. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can write a message at any point and say whatever I want. Okay, so what? I don't have anything to say to the man today. I probably won't have anything to say tomorrow, but if I want to, I'm grown and I can. It's kind of like if we go on a diet or we say we're going to stop doing whatever it is that we're addicted to, and we go, oh, I can never have another cup of coffee. I can never drink any more alcohol. I can never do whatever it is. We get that anxiety. Don't tell yourself never, or I'm always going to be no contact. I will always be in no contact with this person, whatever extreme you take it to. Extremist thinking is really, really difficult to get through. And it's mostly the way that highly narcissistic people think. It's black or it's white. It's up or it's down. You love me or you hate me. You're completely with me or you're completely against me. Yeah, the world is full of 99,999 different shades of gray. It is never just one way or the other. So as far as going no contact, you don't have anything to say today. You're going to do this one day at a time. I don't have anything to say today. Maybe I will tomorrow. I kind of also call it fake it till you make it. I don't have anything to say right now. I'll think on it. And maybe if I do have something important to say, then I'll speak. And what you realize is you don't have anything important to say. Not that you're not important, you are, but what can you say that hasn't been said 5,000 times with this person? And if you don't speak for a few days or a few weeks, trust me, that person will still be there if you decide to speak again. But you're going to give yourself anxiety and a lot of other fears and all that stuff if you put yourself into an all or nothing situation. They're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. If you want to talk, you can. You're grown. But honestly, what is there to say? What is there to listen to? Nothing that the both of you haven't already heard before. Make sure you actually have something to say that maybe you haven't ever said before you speak. But work on no contact and moving forward. But again, one day at a time. And if you can, take the words never and always right out of your vocabulary. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a really toxic, abusive, narcissistic relationship, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com and set up some private one-on-one chats with me. Feeling our emotions and going through the grieving process. This is another big step when it comes to breaking the trauma bond. It's really important that you feel your emotions and validate them. I used to really invalidate myself. I would go, why are you crying? You're such a loser. Just get over it. It's not really a big deal. He doesn't care about you. I wasn't validating that I was upset, that I was heartbroken, that I was angry. I was feeling the emotions, but trying to push them off to the side and not really allowing myself to just be valid and sit there and feel. Trust me, feelings, emotions, they go nowhere. They have nothing else to do, and they wait for you. Say, yeah, I'm pissed, or I'm sad, and I need to acknowledge that, whatever the feeling is. These are things that we, of course, don't share with the narcissist, but we need to learn how to get through these really difficult feelings alone. We need to know how to do this. I always recommend to journal, to write letters, to share how you feel with people that you trust in a setting where you feel safe and secure. Grieving is also vital at the end of a toxic relationship. We need to mourn the loss, not only the loss of the relationship, but the self-esteem that we gave up, the self-worth that we don't acknowledge anymore, that this person is narcissistic, that the relationship is over, that they probably never really cared too much about our safety, security, or well-being. There's a lot to accept and a lot of loss and a lot to mourn. I do have some videos about grieving. I want to go into it in more detail in another video, so stick around on the channel and I will have some of those coming in the future. Identifying the hook is probably, not that all of these steps aren't vital, but this is probably one of the ones that I think kind of thrusts us into recovery a little bit faster. Identifying the hook. What is hooking you to this person? Really sit down and ask yourself, what are you waiting for? For something to change? For some fantasy that you have in your mind to actually come true? For things to get better? Has this person promised you that maybe things will get better? Is it maybe the physical relationship between the two of you? What is keeping you going back to this person or staying with this person or doing this round and round? Understand why you stay. Understanding that is really important. You need to decide why you need to leave. So understanding why you're staying can help you go, oh, okay, they did promise me that things were going to get better, but clearly things aren't going to get better. So this is really going to help me. I know I need to leave because nothing is ever going to change. They've said this 1,000 times, and in fact, everything gets worse. So this person is deceitful. They're a liar. I don't deserve to be with a liar, so now I'm going to leave. Understanding why you stay, like I say, is important. It will help you figure out why you need to leave, and then you can grieve that magical thing that was making you stay. Physical relationships, you can have a physical relationship and do all those kinds of things with someone who doesn't treat you like garbage. You can get all of these things that you're hoping and wishing for and wanting and waiting, not even necessarily from somebody else in a relationship, but from yourself. If you're like, well, they love me. Well, why don't you love yourself? Well, they make me happy. Do they? Because you can make yourself happy a lot more efficiently. You can understand what the hook is. You can let go of it, begin to detach, and move forward. Another really important step, I think, in all of this is rebuilding. New life, rebuilding connections, new standards, and new boundaries. Rebuilding your life after all of this is over. Maybe this relationship has caused you to sever some ties with people that you love, you care about. Maybe friends, family, children, friends from high school, whatever. Go and rebuild those connections with those people. Build up your support team. Make a lot of goals for your new life that don't involve this person. Are you going to go back to school for that degree? Are you going to go after that one job? Are you going to buy this house or move or do all of these really exciting things that you never got to do because your life was on hold while with this person? Build your new life, set goals without this person being a part of those plans and those goals. Rebuild those connections. And when you're ready, sit down and make a new list of standards and boundaries that people are going to be following in your life from this point on. You might even find a few extra people floating around in your life who probably also need the boot, just like the narcissist. Do not sit around in negativity, toxicity, bullshit, and garbage that you don't need, being treated in ways that you do not deserve. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.